So, while they're setting up, any questions in the audience? There must be a lot of questions. I have a lot. No? Yes, please. Hi.
Created this documentary film.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi, Jeanette.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good. You see us? I guess you can't see.
Oh, hello,
No?
everyone.
Oh, there you are. Hi.
Hi, Mo.
How
Hi,
are you?
Keith. How are you?
We can see you behind us and over there as well.
Yes.
We just finished a screening, and
Yeah, wonderful.
the first question that Dr. Lowe was just about to answer was, how long was the journey to make the film?
It was a year, exactly, actually. It started, so Paula Madison and her brothers came to the Toronto Hakka Conference July 1st weekend of 2012, and then I delivered the film July 1st weekend 2013. So it was exactly a year.
On budget.
I guess on budget. But yeah, it was like a military operation to get it done, that's for sure.
So the one part, the question for you, Dr. Lowe, is the one part, and maybe I missed it, is your connection to the film, and how did you discover your connection? And I think there's a story behind there. Maybe you share it.
Well, some people that think I'm a distant cousin of Paula Madison. Well, it's true. We're in this, our common ancestor would be 23 generations ago, but as many of you here, most Asian people, realize that 23 generations is not a long time, really. So I consider myself a close cousin of Paula Madison, Suina, and I, Kim Sang, share that closeness. So we found one another here in Toronto, and we're one family. And as you see, we united very joyfully back in our own village in China. So that's a connection.
So Jeanette, since you and I met at Reelworld, and since the film, the documentary's been made, there's something happening with the documentary that I heard about. It's being made into a feature now.
Yes, I think it's being developed as we speak, and there's been a few books that have come out of it too. Lowe and Jeanette, Paula's cousin, he's written a couple of books, and Paula has written a book. So yeah, it's really taken off, and she's definitely developing a feature film out of it. So
what
pardon?
So tell me a little bit about how you were drawn into the project to begin with, and what drew you to it.
Well, it was a case that she sort of found me. I had done a film called The Chinese Shop, which was about the contribution of the Chinese shopkeeper to Jamaican society. And so I made this documentary, and then her cousin came to a screening that was being held at the Chinese Cultural Center, and then he bought her a copy of the DVD and sent it to her in LA, and then that's when she screened it. Apparently she said, you know, this person's going to help me find my family. And so she had gotten in touch with me, but at the time I was producing a second film for the Toronto Hakka Conference that Keith was putting on in 2012. And so I was busy filming that in South Dakota. And then I said to her, well, I'm doing this film and I'm going to be, screening it at the Toronto Hakka conference. And so she came to that with her brothers. And so we met up there, and that's how the whole thing started. So I'd mentioned that I first met her in that July 1st weekend of 2012 at the Toronto Hakka conference. Yeah. And at the time, there wasn't, she didn't know that she was connected to Keith, at that time, she had no idea who her family was. So everything was sort of discovered after that conference. Yeah.
So that leads me to a question, Dr. Lowe. How did you find out that you and Paula were related? Like, was it just you were having a conversation, or?
Through me. Through me.
Right, well, Jeanette and Paula, as you heard, were connected quite a while before I was connected to her. But I was in the rotunda of York University, and Paula was drawing people around her to say, do you know, you know who my father is? People were saying, well, yes, maybe so, and yes, maybe so, and so on. And I finally said to her, well, show me a picture of your mother. Paula, as you see, doesn't look very Chinese. So, I wanted to be quite sure so that we could pursue this. And I passed the picture around. Does anybody know anyone who looks like this? Of course, no one did, but the moment Paula said, well, I think Samuel Lowe had a shop in St. Anne's Bay. I said, wait a minute now. I had many relatives in St. Anne's Bay. And I think that my nephew in Hong Kong would know these Lowes who lived in St. Anne's Bay. So I telephoned him right away, and then he said, wait a minute now. I had a meeting, a lunch meeting with Uncle Zhao Yu in China. My nephew lived in Hong Kong, and Zhao Yu may be related to her. And indeed, Zhao Yu, as you see in the film, was a son of Samuel Lowe himself. So that's the way I connected. It changed my life too. So.
We'll go back to the audience. Yeah?
So is Lowe one of the common name in Chinese?
No.
Lowe's as a last name?
Lowe is yes.
Is it very common?
It's a very common name, yes.
It's very common. So that makes that much more difficult to find.
Yes, that made the search more extensive because there are not